Far beyond the tallest mountains, where no human had ever walked, there was a magical land unlike any other. It was called the Fruit Kingdom, a place where every fruit was alive and every day was filled with joy. The streets echoed with cheerful laughter as fruit children played together, merchants welcomed visitors with warm smiles, and colorful birds sang beautiful songs from the treetops. Crystal clear rivers sparkled under the golden morning sun, while sweet fragrances drifted through gardens bursting with flowers of every color. At the very heart of the kingdom stood the magnificent Watermelon Castle, where the wise and kind King Watermelon ruled with fairness and love. The kingdom had enjoyed peace for many years, and every fruit believed that happiness would last forever. But hidden among the cheerful crowd was a young green mango whose extraordinary journey was only just beginning. His courage would one day change the destiny of the entire fruit kingdom. Among all the fruits living in the kingdom was a young mango unlike any other. Although he was still green and had not yet ripened, he carried something much more valuable than a bright golden color. He possessed a heart filled with kindness, compassion, and hope. Every morning he greeted everyone with a smile, helped elderly fruits carry heavy baskets, watered flowers in the village gardens, and comforted anyone who felt lonely or sad. He dreamed of becoming someone who could protect and serve the kingdom one day. While others admired strength, beauty, and sweetness, the young Mango believed that true greatness came from helping others without expecting anything in return. His dreams seemed impossible, but he refused to stop believing. Not everyone appreciated the young mango's gentle heart. Many fruits judged him only by what they could see. Look at him, they laughed. He's still green. How could someone like him ever become important? Their cruel words echoed through the village square, causing many others to laugh as well. The young mango lowered his head, trying to hide the sadness in his eyes. Deep inside, their words hurt more than anyone could imagine. For a brief moment, he questioned whether his dream was foolish, yet even in the middle of rejection and embarrassment, he chose not to answer hatred with anger. Instead, he quietly reminded himself that one day his actions would speak louder than the opinions of those who doubted him. Little did they know that this humble green mango would soon become the greatest hero the fruit kingdom had ever known. As the laughter of the other fruits slowly faded into the distance, the young mango wandered alone through the quiet gardens of the kingdom. His heart felt heavy, and his confidence had begun to fade. Just then, the oldest fruit in the kingdom, Wise Coconut, called him over with a gentle smile. Everyone respected Wise Coconut because he had lived through many seasons and had guided generations with his wisdom. Looking kindly into Mango's eyes, he said, "My child, never let the opinions of others decide your future. Every fruit has its own season. The sweetest mango is never the one that ripens first, but the one that grows with patience." Mango listened carefully as every word filled his heart with new hope. For the first time that day, he smiled again, believing that perhaps his time would come after all. That evening, after the kingdom had grown quiet and the stars filled the night sky, the young mango climbed his favorite hill, overlooking the entire fruit kingdom. He could see the glowing castle, the peaceful homes, and the gentle lights shining from every street below. Taking a deep breath, he whispered a promise to himself. No matter how many people laugh at me, I will never stop believing in my dream. I will become someone who protects this kingdom and helps everyone who lives here. The cool night breeze carried his words into the sky as though the stars themselves had heard his promise. Although he had no idea what challenges lay ahead, his heart was stronger than he had ever been. That quiet promise would soon become the beginning of an unforgettable adventure. The next morning, the sound of golden trumpets echoed throughout the fruit kingdom, calling every fruit to gather in the royal town square. Excitement spread through every street as fruits hurried from their homes, wondering what important news the king wished to share. Soon the square was filled with hundreds of smiling faces. King Watermelon stepped forward onto the magnificent royal stage and raised his hand for silence. His voice was calm, powerful, and filled with kindness. "My dear friends," he announced, "in just 3 days we shall celebrate our great fruit festival, a celebration of unity, courage, and kindness. During this festival, every fruit will have the opportunity to show the special gifts that make our kingdom strong." Cheers erupted across the square. Even the young Mango felt his heart race with excitement, unaware that this festival will change his life forever. As soon as the king finished speaking, the entire fruit kingdom burst into joyful activity. Every street became a place of celebration as fruits of every kind worked together to prepare for the biggest festival of the year. Colorful banners fluttered in the breeze, bright flowers decorated every corner, and cheerful songs echoed through the village. Everyone had an important job to do. Some decorated the town square, others baked delicious treats, while musicians practiced beautiful melodies for the celebration. Although many fruits were busy preparing to impress the king with their talent, young Mango spent his day quietly helping anyone with needed assistance. He carried heavy baskets for elderly fruits, cleaned the streets, and offered encouragement wherever he went. No one applauded his kindness, but Mango didn't mind. He believed that even the smallest act of love could make the kingdom a better place. As evening approached, Mango quietly walked to the peaceful river where he often went to think. Looking into the clear water, he saw his own reflection staring back at him, a small green mango who still looked so ordinary compared to everyone else. Around him, other fruits practiced impressive talents that would surely amaze the king during the festival. For a moment, doubt crept into Mango's heart. "What special gifts do I have?" he whispered softly. Everyone else seemed so talented, but deep inside, another voice reminded him that kindness itself was a gift. Although he still felt uncertain, Mango chose not to give up. He believed that if he continued doing what was right, somehow everything would work out in the end. As Mango sat quietly beside the river, he wasn't alone for long. His good friend Apple noticed the sadness in his eyes and walked over to sit beside him. Without saying a word at first, Apple simply smiled kindly. After a moment, Apple said, "Mango, don't compare your journey to anyone else's. Every fruit has a purpose, and yours is just as important as mine." Those simple words touched Mango's heart. Apple reminded him of all the people he had helped over the past year and how many smiles he had brought to others. Sometimes, the greatest gift isn't a talent that everyone can see, it's a heart that chooses kindness every single day. Mango's confidence slowly returned, and hope once again filled his heart. Just as the kingdom finished decorating for the great fruit festival, the bright blue sky suddenly began to change. Thick black clouds rolled over the mountains, hiding the warm sunshine. A powerful wind swept through the streets, shaking trees, scattering decorations, and sending frightened birds flying in every direction. The joyful laughter of the kingdom was quickly replaced by worried whispers. No one had expected such a storm. Mothers hurried to protect their children, merchants rushed to secure their shops, and the royal guards prepared for an emergency. Standing in the middle of the village square, Mango looked toward the dark sky with courage instead of fear. Deep inside, he felt that this storm was more than just bad weather. It was the very moment that would test every lesson he had learned and reveal the true hero hidden within him. Within minutes, the peaceful fruit kingdom was transformed into a place of fear and confusion. The cheerful music of the festival disappeared beneath the roar of thunder and the howling wind. Rain poured from the sky so heavily that the streets quickly was filled with rushing water. Trees bent under the force of the storm, while colorful decorations that had taken days to prepare were ripped away and carried into the water. Frightened fruit children cried as they searched for their parents, and even the bravest guards struggled against the powerful winds. Many fruits stood frozen, unsure of what to do next. But while fear spread through the crowd, one young green mango refused to run. He remembered wise coconut's words: true courage is revealed when others need you the most. As Mango hurried through the flooded streets, he heard a frightened cry above the sound of the storm. A tiny strawberry had become trapped on a broken bridge as the rushing river threatened to sweep her away. Without stopping to think about his own safety, Mango raced toward the bridge. The wind pushed against him, and the slippery wood shook beneath his feet, but he refused to turn back. Stretching out both hands, he reached the terrified little strawberry just in time. "Don't be afraid," Mango said gently. "I've got you." With all his strength, he carried her safely back to solid ground. The watching fruits were amazed. The same young Mango they had laughed at only yesterday had become the first to risk his own life to save someone else. When Mango carried the little strawberry into the safety of the village shelter, her parents rushed forward with tears of joy streaming down their faces. They hugged their daughter tightly, thanking Mango and over again for his bravery. The fruits gathered inside the shelter, looking at him with completely different eyes than before. The laughter and mockery had disappeared, replaced by surprise, gratitude, and growing respect. Banana quietly lowered his head, remembering the hurtful words he had spoken only a day earlier. Wise Coconut smiled softly, knowing that Mango's true character was finally beginning to shine. Yet, Mango did not wait for praise or applause. As soon as he knew Strawberry was safe, he turned back toward the storm. He knew there were still many others who needed help. As Mango stepped back into the rain, something remarkable happened. His courage inspired others to stop hiding and start helping. Apple ran after him, followed by Banana, Pineapple, and many other fruits who realized that protecting the kingdom was more important than their own fears. King Watermelon watched proudly as ordinary fruits became heroes simply by choosing to serve one another. Wise Coconut quietly whispered, "This is how true leaders are born, not by seeking power, but by placing others before themselves." Together, they formed rescue teams and spread throughout the forest, determined to save every fruit before the storm grew even stronger. The greatest challenge of their life had only just begun. The rescue team hurried from one end of the kingdom to the other, searching every street for anyone still trapped by the storm. Suddenly, Mango heard a faint cry coming from a small cottage near the edge of the village. Rushing toward the sound, he discovered an elderly pair pinned down beneath a massive tree branch that had crashed through the garden. Without hesitation, Mango called for Pineapple, whose great strength helped lift the heavy branch just enough for Apple to pull the frightened pair to safety. Banana quickly cleared the path so they could reach shelter before any strong gust of wind arrived. The elderly pair looked into Mango's eyes with tears of gratitude and whispered, "Today, you didn't just save my life, you reminded me that kindness still lives in this kingdom." Mango smiled humbly and replied, "We protect each other because we are one family." As the storm continued to rage, another urgent message reached the rescue team. The kingdom's oldest bridge had collapsed, leaving several fruit families trapped across the flooded river. The rushing water was too dangerous to cross, and every passing minute increased the danger. Mango carefully studied the situation before noticing a strong vine growing between the giant trees. Working together with Pineapple, he secured the vine tightly while Banana and Apple encouraged the frightened families not to lose hope. One by one, each family crossed safely, holding firmly to the vine while Mango stood ready to catch anyone who slips. Hours later, many fruits had seen Mango as weak and inexperienced. Now they watch in amazement as his quick thinking and calm leadership saved lives. Courage, they realized, was not about being fearless, it was about doing what was right even when fear was all around you. Just when everyone believed the worst was over, a worried mother rushed to the rescue team with heartbreaking news. Her little Cherry had wandered away during the chaos and had disappeared into the forest. Without wasting a second, Mango grabbed a lantern and entered the dark woods alone. Thunder echoed through the trees, and the rain made every step more difficult, but he refused to turn back. Then, through the sound of the storm, he heard the quiet sobbing of a frightened child. Beneath a giant leaf sat little Cherry, cold, scared, and completely alone. Mango gently wrapped his arms around the tiny fruit and said, "Don't be afraid. I'm here now. I'm taking you home." Tears turned into a smile as hope replaced fear. In that moment, Mango understood that true heroes don't just rescue people, they also restore their courage. After hours of fierce winds, crashing thunder, and endless rain, the sky slowly began to calm. The dark clouds drifted away, making a room for warm golden sunlight to shine once again over the fruit kingdom. A magnificent rainbow appeared high above the watermelon castle, filling every heart with hope. One by one, frightened families stepped out of their shelters, embracing loved ones they feared they might never see again. Laughter slowly replaced tears as the kingdom realized that they had survived the terrible storm. Standing quietly in the middle of the village was young Mango, exhausted from hours of rescuing others. His body was tired, but his heart overflowed with peace. He had never imagined that simple acts of kindness could make such a difference. Without seeking praise or recognition, he simply smiled, grateful that everyone was finally safe. The very next morning, the people of the Fruit Kingdom gathered once again in the royal town square. This time, they were not celebrating the festival that they had planned. They were celebrating something even greater. King Watermelon stepped forward and invited young Mango to stand beside him. The entire crowd erupted into thunderous applause. Many fruits who had once laughed at Mango now lowered their heads in shame, realizing how wrong they had been. The king raised his hand and spoke with pride. Yesterday, while many were afraid, this young Mango chose courage. While others thought only of themselves, he thought first of others. He has reminded us that true greatness is measured not by appearance, but by love, sacrifice, and kindness. The crowd cheered louder than ever before, honoring the hero they had ever once overlooked. As the sun slowly disappeared beyond the distant mountains, peace returned to the Fruit Kingdom once again. The damaged homes were rebuilt, the gardens blossomed with even brighter flowers, and the joyful laughter filled the streets where fear had once lived. Standing quietly on the hill overlooking the kingdom, Mango smiled with gratitude. He had never dreamed that a simple heart filled with kindness could make such a great difference. From that day on, no one ever called him the little green mango again. Instead, he became known throughout the kingdom as the brave Mango, a hero whose courage, compassion, and selflessness saved countless lives. The fruits, who had once mocked him, learned an unforgettable lesson: never judge anyone by their appearance, because true greatness comes from the heart. King Watermelon declared that every year on the anniversary of the Great Storm, the entire kingdom would celebrate the Day of Courage. On that special day, every fruit will remember that even the smallest act of kindness could change someone's life forever. Wise Coconut smiled proudly, knowing that his words had taken root in Mango's heart and grown into something truly extraordinary. As the stars filled the night sky and a gentle breeze swept across the peaceful kingdom, Mango looked up with a thankful heart. He knew that the greatest reward was never fame or praise. It was seeing others safe, happy, and united. And so, the Fruit Kingdom flourished in peace for many generations, forever inspired by the bravery of one humble Mango who chose love over fear and service over pride. And that is the story of the brave mango, a timeless reminder that true heroes are not recognized by how they look, but by the kindness they show, and the courage they display, and the love they share with the world. The end.